Well, hello. It's time for another exciting episode of Pens in Use. This is the show where I talk about the fountain pens and inks that I've been using throughout the week. So let's dive into it. If videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens both new and old and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. And how'd you like my canola field? I'm hoping I've got a good line on a nice flax field to use in the future, so let me know down in the comments. I got some other stuff coming up at the end too, and I'm experimenting with a different camera here and doing some lighting experiments, and I see a problem. Where I may have to go back to the old camera for this, but anyway, let's dive into the pens. Alright, so these are the pens that I've been using this week, and everything is backwards on my preview screen, so we'll just see how it turns out. From left to right, we have a Lamy ABC. Yes, we do. We have a Flaro pen from Romania. We have a Parker Sonnet. We have a Parker Duofold Jr. from the 1920s. We have a Cleo Skribent Classic. We have, that's a new pen too. We have a Sailor 1911 Standard. We have a Geha 722, probably from the 60s or 70s. No, I don't think 80s. 60s or 70s, we'll go with that. TWSBI Draco. And not on my list, but kind of a surprise when I started writing with it last night. A Stipula Etrurio Magma something or other. Used to have a T-flex nib in it, but as you'll see, it no longer does, and I'll tell that story when I get to the pen. As always, we'll do our writing sample in this Cognitive Surplus Theory Notebook. So the first pen is this Lamy ABC. This is a children's pen, and that's why it looks... Let's just pull this up a little. Don't really have room on the screen for the pen. All right, let's try that again. So this is a Lamy ABC, which is a children's pen. Nice wood body. And then you can personalize it with your name and so on. Rubberized grip, which is starting to come apart. Something about my body chemistry is hard on rubberized grips. But it is a good writer. I didn't leave the A nib in it. It has a special children's nib. Instead, I put a fine in it. Why? Don't know. But I did discover I still own a lot of this ink, so I thought, well, let's use it up, because I'm trying to use up all my grays, and I thought I had, but I didn't. So this is Herbin, Jack Herbin, 1670 Stormy Gray, which is a sparkly ink. And I don't like sparkly inks. They were cool when they first came out. And then I discovered after they sit in the pen for a few days, they're just a pain because all the sparkles settle and fill up the feed, and it's a bugger to clean out, and not so much a fan. I've had people tell me that they wear out nibs. I don't know if that's true or not, but I just know I don't like them, so don't use them too much. I only have a few. I jumped on that train when it first left the station, and now I've jumped off. So I don't know if you can see the sparkles because I'm playing with a different camera here, but there you go. Plus, it freaks me out that my preview screen, everything is backwards, so I hope it's not backwards when I publish this. Because what a pain in the ass that'll be. Alrighty. On that happy note, we have a Flaro for, I think, the second week in a row. This is a nice Romanian pen, not a fancy pen. Sort of reminds me of a Parker Vector. So we have a, oh dear God. I was writing with this pen last night, so why are we playing this game? Don't know. There we go, Flaro. So the ink in it is Lamy Turquoise. As you can see, the most amazing pen you'll see tonight, this is not. Even cut up the paper a little bit there. That nib is not the smoothest bugger. This isn't my favorite pen. I get it out every so often just for funsies. I mean, how many fountain pen channels do you know where they're looking at Romanian pens? Okay, at the other end, we get to my lovely Parker Sonnet. This is my gold nib one with the fine nib on it. I finished up my fill on the Pilot Custom 823 of my Omas black, and I like to use a variety of pens through the summer for my black inks. So right now we're on the Parker Sonnet. When you see the Parker Sonnet writing in the winter, unless it's over the holiday break, it's probably filled with something else that looks good and fine. But through the summer I like to give certain pens a chance to come out and play. This is a very nice daily writer type of pen because so you can just write with it. Now, long writing sessions, it's okay. But anyway, we have probably the last week of it because I'm guessing as much as I've been writing with it, it's almost empty. Parker Duofold Streamline Junior from the 1920s. Very nice pen. You know, you can see why the Parker Duofold put Parker on the map. The ink in this one is Krishna Ghat Green. So I was told by somebody who speaks, I'm not sure what language it is, because there isn't really an Indian language. Anyway, he said the local language, that it means mountain pass. Well, we have things that we call mountains here in North Dakota, but they're not really. So we'll leave that to those of you who live in places where there's actual mountains, whether that's a good name for it or not. Now, this next pen was a surprise to me. When I first reviewed it, it was a very lackluster review. And I just, it was one of those, it's okay. But I'm finding that ink in this works very well with it. So this is a Cleo Skribent Classic. So it looks like one of those slim black pens that I like so much. Piston filler, which is nice. Oh, do you smell that? Here, let me move it closer. Do you smell it now? It smells like roses. Why would that be? I also read somewhere that this is actually a Bach nib in this pen. So Cleo Skribent Classic. I think it's a medium. Yep. So the ink in it is why you smell the roses. De Atramentis, red roses. That is an ink I bought and never used more than like once or twice. Like the bottle is almost full. So I got it out because I used up my black Swan and English roses. And I thought, well, let's get another rose. Dang, that's gorgeous. That kind of reminds me of Ottoman Rose from Noodlers. I have a bottle of that, I think, yet to use up. But dang, that's a good looking ink. With this pen, it's just, I mean, I was writing on Tomoe River paper because it was a letter last night, but that just looks good. I'm so impressed with that combination. So, I'll talk a little later in the video about it, but, you know, that kind of gave me the inspiration of a possible new video series I'm going to try doing, especially since I'm not buying too many pens. Got a few you haven't seen yet to film, but kind of running low on those. Alright, this is my Sailor 1911 Standard. Has a fun zoom nib in it. I need to film a video on this before I empty it out, because this is one I have not revisited. You know, you may know I have revisited a couple other... Oops, 1911 doesn't have 2 9s in it. I've revisited some other Sailors and basically came down to, it's okay. I really like this one. It's got a fabulous nib, and I just love putting bright, cheerful inks in it because it goes well with this kind of dull finish. I love the contrast. So this is a discontinued ink, Sailor Jentle Apricot. Just a nice, bright, happy ink. And Sailor no longer makes it. Now, with all of the inks that they do make, you know, oh well. I'm sure you can find something similar. But it is just a nice ink. And fun fact, I rehomed it, if rehoming is a word, in a much nicer bottle. I rehomed it in a Lamy bottle, because this had Lamy bronze in it before, and I put Sailor Apricot in it. It's so much nicer than the actual Sailor bottle that it came in. Because, sorry, the original flat Sailor Gentle bottles, pardon my French, suck! Alright, so this is a pen you haven't seen on here in a long time. Why? I don't know, because I love it. But this is a Geha 722. And, you know, slip cap, which is nice. Has this ink tank reservoir switch thing here, which is probably not showing up too well, but if I keep using this camera, I'll get it figured out. But anyway, so Geha, and wasn't that a beautiful ink? I remember when I first got this pen, it disappeared, and I'm like, where the hell could it go? It's not like this is that big of a house, and I had a lot more clutter then, but still. And I finally found it inside the couch. There was a... Oops, I forgot to put the brand. Inside of the couch, there's a rip, and it had gone down the rip into inside the couch. Sorry, why was that so hard? Not brilliant violet, just violet. And I guess we're not going to line up. Used to use lined paper for this. That might be why. Oh well. What's the worst that can happen, right? Oh, yep, you see that's oblique? You see why I do the diagonal slashes? Nothing fun going on with the vertical. Let's do that again for all you doubters. Nothing. Oh. Oh. Isn't that fun? My next ink is in this TWSBI Draco, which I think is a beautiful pen. And then people will say, yeah, that nib is a little inadequate. Well, it's not the size of the nib, it's how you use it. Quote by Wasky Squirrel. TWSBI Draco has a broad nib in it, and the ink in it is Noodler's Black Swan in Australian roses. And that ink is getting low enough that I rehomed that one in a Mont Blanc bottle. So the question will be, you know, I like this ink so well. Will I replace it? Or is there a color similar enough to it that I would be happy with? This one doesn't have the problem of certain other Noodler's inks. If they're in the pen too long, they don't dry. This one's actually very well behaved. Okay, so we get a bonus pen. Because I was writing a letter last night and just looking at, you know, it had to do with something in the person I was writing to mentioned, but this is a Stipula Etruria. It came with this wonderful T-Flex nib. T-Flex! And it absolutely sucks. Pardon my French again. This is an awful pen. I could not get it to write. With the T-Flex, it would write for a while and then, nope, we're done. So I experimented with different nibs. Right now it has a nib from a Delta. It's a Delta steel nib, not one of their weird little, we're going to glue a piece of gold to a steel nib and call it fusion. No, this is a real honest-to-God steel nib from the Delta Serena, which I broke. And this pen feels good in the hand. It's wonderful to write with, but I can already see there is no ink in the nib. Oh, look, we don't want to write. So I'm going to gently try to shake some ink down into that nib because I was having a good time writing with this pen last night. Okay, starting to come down. Where's my ink cloth? Can't find it. Anyway, there is something about the pen because I don't have this problem with other pens. But ink does not want to stay in the nib, and I was getting amazing flow last night. There we go. It was just like this. So it has a Delta broad nib in it. Delta is back, by the way. The company had gone out of business, but I was looking for some ink syringes and things on somebody's website. I think Goulet, but it might not have been because I'm pretty agnostic. And I saw they had a whole bunch of Delta pens for sale, so that was exciting. Some of them look the same, some of them are new. There is no equivalent of the Serena for sale. Make of that what you will. So this is Ackermann Grundmarkt Smaragd. And I wrote a whole page with this pen, and I took out the nib and feed first and just carefully reseated them just kind of to the right length. There's the nib collar. Oh, there we go. That's the stipula I'm used to. So never criticize a brand based on one sucky pen. Try and talk me into buying another stipula after this experience. Love the nib. It's in... Actually, a viewer sent me a second one. So one's in a Chinese pen, one is in a Noodler's pen. Wonderful nibs! Suck in this pen. So that was every single nib I put in it. But like I said, I had a good night last night, so don't know what it is. Maybe I should store this pen nib down or something. I don't know. One of my biggest pen disappointments. Gorgeous, though. Beautiful. I love this magma finish. It's such a nice-looking pen. And when the T-Flex was working in it, so fun to write with. And then it would suck. So, I don't know. I don't even look at Etruria anymore. Or Stipula. They're probably fine. They're probably perfectly good pens. I just got a bad one, but it was so bad that I just... Well, now I mostly buy vintage pens and haven't bought pens in months anyway, so... All right, that's enough of me babbling without my face. Let's see if I can babble with my face. All right, so I mentioned I was trying out a different camera for this. I'm all about simplifying. I just thought I would try my live stream camera for doing this. And yeah, the live stream camera is a document camera. And I don't know, I'm not super thrilled with the me talking part of this. I think if I close the curtain, then we can get the auto exposure to correctly expose for me. Let's just see here if I can... Woo! Don't do that button. Nobody wants to look at me that close. Let's try. Oh, there we go. That's not so bad. Anyway... I was talking to another YouTuber who's looking at going the 4K route, and I don't have the equipment for that yet. I'm not even sure if my video editor can do 4K. But anyway, there's a 4K version of this document camera that's relatively low cost that I looked at. I don't know. I thought I'd just see, first of all, how do I like it as a camera. So, the opening was a little dark, but then I remembered there's a brightness button on it, so I pressed that a couple of times. So, let me know what you think down below. Would 4K add anything? I'm thinking not, but if I got a 4K document camera, I think I would take this one and use it at school. So, I used to use a document camera for this channel and for school all the time. And then it had an accident while traveling home. Walking on ice does that. Oh, that was a sad day. But anyway, in other exciting news, I posted a poll. I don't remember what day it was I posted it, but I would just, it was after a day of decluttering, and I was looking at all the inks I had and said, oh, God. And then I thought, wait, what would be a fast way to start using them up? And I came up with this crazy idea of having 8 pens, 8 different kinds of nibs, and just doing the same ink in them. Kind of the same format as pens in use, only it's going to be the same ink in every pen. And, I won't feel as guilty emptying out a pen as I do just taking a bottle of ink and go bloop down the sink. Did that this morning, but the ink had some weird little gelatinous things floating in it. I just thought, nope. So, yeah, that one went down the sink. Protect my babies. But anyway, I just thought it'd be kind of fun it'd be a quick way to do some pen comparisons. It wouldn't be exactly a rodeo, but it's always interesting. Okay, so in pens in use already, you've seen this. Let's see if I can find the bottle. I am looking directly into a spotlight. I can't find it. Anyway, the Red Roses ink, the Atramentis Red Roses ink I was using during the writing sample. I inked that up into a pen that got it's okay type of review. And the Red Roses is an ink I have not used in years. But I was using it in that it's okay pen, and I just thought, this is a really sweet combination. I really enjoyed that ink in that pen. And I was writing on Tomoe River paper because I was doing a pen pal letter, and it's just like, wow, that looks really good on this paper. Atramentis inks have a couple of little quirks. They tend to spread more in the paper than other brands do, at least in my experience. But this pen that was kind of on the dry side is just like, chef's kiss with that ink. So now I want to try it with some other Atramentis inks. But my point is, sometimes it's not the pen, sometimes it's not the ink, sometimes it's the combination. Like, I always do my first impressions with Parker Quink Washable Blue. And Parker still has not given me any sponsor money. But sometimes that's just not the right ink for a pen. Which is why when I always film the follow-up, the verbal me talking part, quite a bit later after I've used it with several different inks. Because sometimes you just discover, like with that, that, wow, this is a really nice pen with this ink. By the way, I am cold. My thing for summer is I don't wear pants unless I have to go out in public. Don't worry, I wear shorts, but I don't wear pants. I am wearing jeans. I had my nice squirrel shirt, the only one that's not dirty right now. And I just decided, no, I need long sleeves today. It is cold in here. I slept with the windows open. The cold actually woke me up last night. See, it's 64 degrees Fahrenheit in the living room right now. What is that in Celsius? Around 20, I think. Convert 64 Fahrenheit to Celsius. Okay, 17.8 degrees Celsius. So, not uncomfortably cold, but shorts and t-shirt, yeah, cold for that. In the winter, for reference, I usually like it about 4 degrees warmer in here when I'm home. At night, I usually, if I remember, drop the thermostat down to 65. I used to do 60, but then it was so brutally cold in the morning getting up. I thought, nope, we're not going to do this, because the bathroom is always colder than the rest of the house. Bathroom and kitchen, so 65 seemed like a good compromise. I guess I could get a thermostat that with a timer on it that kicks on the heat a little before I get up, but I didn't. So, if not in the house, 60's fine. Then when I get home, I turn it up. I don't always know when I'm going to get home, so I guess a timed thermostat wouldn't be that much help anyway. But anyway, so it's cold in here once I'm filming this. I don't have too much chatty stuff to talk about. My decluttering is, I've made the first pass through the whole house. Gave away a lot of stuff at the curb. Had to throw some curb stuff away because that storm was coming in, and I don't want this frying pan to be a missile, so I, put it all in a bag when the storm started to come up, and I guess we did get some wind. It was apparently a lot more interesting in other locations, just not here. And I'm okay with that. When they're talking baseball-sized hail, I don't want that. That's going to come through my roof and smash up my car. And I can't have my car smashed up right now. I can't have my roof smashed up right now. I just paid off the house. I don't want that. The car is paid off. I don't want to replace it. I just want to enjoy not owing any money to anybody. So just build up my savings to what it was before I decided to buy a house. So I'm glad that missed us. We got some rain. I took a little footage thinking, oh, this could be an interesting, build-up of the storm. And yeah, it was not really much. So for all the prep work we were going to do, I was going to help repair my neighbor's screen because I have the parts to repair the screen. And then with the storm coming, we're like, why bother? This storm might take it out anyway. Well, it didn't. So I got a screen to repair, and it's not mine. And I don't even have cleanup from the storm to do. So just now I have to mow the lawn because it was enough rain that it's growing. So yeah. So I'm glad it went to nothing. But anyway, on the decluttering front, I've been through the whole house. I'm amazed by how much stuff I took out of the house. And, I feel a little bad putting some of this stuff in the trash, but then I think when I die, which I'm going to, I'm not planning on it anytime soon, but I'm going to die someday. Somebody's going to have to go through this house and throw it all away anyway, so why not do it now? It's not like I've been using it. Some of these cooking implements I've found with cobwebs growing out of them, that's a sign. I did not know I owned 3 muffin tins that are brand new. Never been touched. Why? Because I don't make muffins. I can't believe how many pie tins I found. I don't make pie. A weird little thing with me. I don't like sweet stuff ever since I got sick a couple of years ago, and just sweet stuff doesn't taste good to me. So, why make pie if it doesn't taste good to me? Although, I'll admit that if you don't put too much sugar in it, like a fruit pie is okay. Not something I love like I used to, but it's okay. But it's a lot of work for it's okay. So I don't like to do that work. I've made a few things using the pie tins that are not pies, quiches and things, but... And I found 3 springform pans. I know I use one. There's a breakfast dish that I used to make using kale and bacon and stuff, because savory, I'm all into that. I just can't remember which one of the 3 I use, and they all look brand new, so I'm pretty sure I bought them like as a package of 3. But I don't make cheesecake. I used to make cheesecake once in a while. I don't make that because it's too sweet. So the cupboards are looking kind of sparse, and I'm okay with that, because then I can see everything. Big cake pan. Well, I don't make cake, so why keep that? It might be nice if I can get my Instapot in there to just get that out of view, but boy, that's a big awkward bugger. And some declutterers say, get rid of your Instapot. Well, I use it, so I'm not getting rid of it. I use my crock pot, too, so I'm not getting rid of that either. So, anyway, especially on a hot day in the summer, those are wonderful, because you just put them out in the shed to cook. Heat up the shed, not the house. So, anyway, lots of things like that. Downstairs, just scrap pieces with a whole bunch of paint. Now, if you get rid of paint, make sure you do it right. Make sure it's all dried, or else you use paint hardener in it, because they don't want that leaching into the landfill or messing up their truck. So, yeah, that was a little bit of work, but hey, the work is done, except for one project. And I was able to take a whole piece of furniture out of the basement. So, just nice. The house feels bigger, and now I'm going to do my second pass through. So I think I'll be able to just use regular garbage and just have more garbage during the week. But now I'm doing things like, where should this go? Ooh, dude, do you really want this? Why do you still have it? Those kind of things are what I'm doing now. So it's a lot more detail type work, but it's not going to be the time all-consuming job it was. It's going to be like a half hour or so at a time when I feel like it. So, yeah, just a good feeling. Now, the urge did hit me to do that with my fountain pen inks, but it has been kind of fun. I mean, it's slow going, but working through them and discovering, I think Lamy Turquoise is my favorite turquoise that I have. I have Monteverde turquoise to use up yet, and whatever Sailor used to call their turquoise, I got that one to use up too. I thought I could buy a bottle of gray ink finally, and it was going to be Iroshizuku Fuyu Shogun, because that's a beautiful ink, but then I remembered the sparkly ink, so yay. I did decrease the size of my collection, because I decided we'll put all the inks I'm using up here on the desk. Oh, why not? But I did decrease the number of bottles, because I have this empty Mont Blanc bottle, so I put my... there, you can get the full effect. I put my Black Swan and Australian Roses in it. I have a lot of Noodler's inks that I got to use up. And so don't worry, those of you who are not Noodler's fans, I have not given any money to Noodler's in years. I haven't really given money to anybody that makes ink in years, so let's be fair. But, I mean, I paid for them, so why not use them up? I don't want to be like these people that, I don't like Nike had this person as a spokesman, so I'm going to quick buy a pair of Nikes just so I can YouTube myself burning them. I don't want to be that guy. Or what beer was it that everybody was so snowflakey about a couple of years ago? Anyway, whatever it was, some rapper filmed himself machine gunning them and beer cans. I'm just like, well, if you already have them, drink them. I mean, it's beer. Not very good beer, honestly. If I'm going to drink beer, I like a nice, very dark beer, but you don't need to know my drinking preferences. But anyway, the moral of the story is, you paid for it already. If you can use it, use it. Unlike some things, ink doesn't take up huge amounts of space. I mean, it takes up more than I'd like. My goal is this back shelf here will be where all my inks are someday. And that'll be it for my inks. I will no longer have the big wooden box of ink up there. I will no longer have the drawer of ink down there, or the box of ink that's in my basement. So 8 inks and 8 pens will be a good way to use that up, I guess. Oh boy. How did you get into the situation? A little bit at a time, because it's so easy to just buy, oh, you know, that's a neat bottle of ink. Let's try it out. And next thing you know, because you just have one. They're so cute. And you know, all of my ink collection used to fit in one shoebox. And why did I not stay to that? Dunno. But we'll be using up some Omas black ink. I found some cute little Iroshizuku bottles. So we're going to, this might be a good one for 8 pens, 1 ink. Just use up some of these small bottles. You know, I've got some small bottles of different kinds of Noodler's ink that, hey, why not? So we'll just have to see what happens. So, and that will be a good process for me looking at my pens too. And deciding, oh, maybe not this one anymore. So, anyway, that was a whole lot of nothing. So, I'm going to wrap it up now. So I'm glad I remembered the exposure button on here. If I were to go the 4K route down the road, I would hope that the new version of this camera has an exposure button. And, yeah, I want to thank you for watching. And if videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens both new and old and at all price points, I'd invite you to subscribe. Hey, is it cold where you are? It is for me. Let us know down in the comments. Or, you know, how do you like this idea? If you didn't see my post of 8 inks, 8 pens, 1 ink. Is this something that'll be interesting? So feel free to jump in, and look forward to an episode of that soon, because I'm eyeing a couple bottles of ink that I'd like to use up. So anyway, well, thank you for watching. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.